The day I was diagnosed with heart disease. I signed up for a perfect wife training course. Learning to be a wife who never checks up. Never gets jealous and never nitpicks. All to satisfy Ryan Mitchell so he'd give me more money for treatment. So that day when I saw protections fall out of his coat pocket, I thoughtfully picked them up for him and reminded him. Keep these safe. Our son is pretty smart for his age. Don't let him see these. But seeing how considerate I was being, Ryan's face suddenly darkened. He picked up the box of protections and held it in front of me. Look carefully, they haven't even been opened. Emma accidentally put these in my pocket. There's a free sample dispenser outside. And she got curious and scanned the code to get one. But since she doesn't need them, she just stuffed them in my coat. I was surprised. This was the first time he'd ever explained so much to me. Maybe it was because I've been so busy with my perfect wife training classes lately that I hadn't been paying attention to him. I said, okay. I understand. He sighed and rubbed his forehead. You don't have to act like this. If you don't believe me, I'll call her right now to explain. I didn't say I didn't believe you. I said, feeling a bit hurt. You don't need to explain like this and don't call her. It would be rude to bother her. But he was already dialing Emma. Ryan started, but she interrupted him. Hey, I was just about to call you. Today marks 2 years since I returned to the Anderson family. Mom and Dad are throwing a party and you absolutely have to come. Ryan glanced at me, his voice steady. All right, I'll bring your sister over. You can explain everything. Then Emma's voice immediately turned cold. I don't want to see her. Don't you dare bring her. Every word came through crystal clear. Ryan's face showed a flash of embarrassment. I smiled. You go ahead. I won't come. He hung up, sighing helplessly. Just bear with it. Emma was lost for 28 years and suffered a lot in your place. It's normal for her to dislike you. Besides, she's not forcing you to leave the Anderson family. She'll grow up eventually. She's still young. I almost wanted to laugh. Emma and I were the same age. But he always treated her like a little sister. I said, I understand. He looked at me with some surprise. I understood the confusion in his eyes. After all, just a few days ago, when Emma had left her lipstick in his car, I poured gasoline on his $7 million limited edition Lamborghini and burned it. My jealousy was legendary. Ryan left with our son, Austin. As he was leaving, Austin turned back and said coldly, Mom, I don't want to come home and see you've trashed the house again. I hope you can be emotionally stable like Emma. I smiled awkwardly. I won't. I don't have time to trash anything. I have to attend my perfect wife training class. Today's lesson was learning to be a wife who doesn't check up. So I didn't send Ryan messages asking when he'd be home like I used to. On social media, Emma posted about the gifts she received. A jade Buddha from her parents worth over $10 million. And a luxury car from Ryan. I roughly calculated that the gifts she received today were worth about $50 million total. I sighed softly. Just yesterday, I was still worrying about the $200 fee for my heart examination. It was all my fault when Emma called me an idiot with no parents. I shouldn't have pinned her down and slapped her. Otherwise Ryan wouldn't have frozen my cards, leaving me unable to afford treatment. I figured once I became the perfect wife and made him happy, I'd ask him to unfreeze my accounts. Then I'd have money for treatment and money to leave him. After falling asleep, I vaguely felt someone grab my finger and unlock my phone. When I woke up, my phone wasn't by my pillow. I couldn't find it in the bedroom. So I walked to the living room. Ryan sat on the sofa with his arms crossed looking furious. My phone was on the coffee table in front of him. He held up my phone with the screen facing me. Why? Didn't you text me last night? I was stunned. Text you what? He smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. What do you think? You used to text me every day. I realized he meant my checkup messages. I used to want him to report his whereabouts every minute. I hesitated. I didn't want to bother you. You said it was annoying before. His eyes were dark. Too much is annoying. But you can't have none at all. It needs to be appropriate. I nodded obediently. Okay. I'll learn to do better. He stared at me deeply. Then tapped my phone screen. This social media post, why is it set to only you can see it? I looked. It was Emma's post from last night showing off her gifts. I said, is it only I can see it? Yeah, Austin and I can't see it on our feeds. Oh, she probably has her reasons for doing that. Ryan was quiet for a moment. His voice lower. I think Emma is targeting you. I was stunned. I had noticed before and told him about my discomfort back then. He just said, "You're overthinking it. She's young. How could she be targeting you? Stop being paranoid." Why was he saying this now? To be safe, I smiled. "You're overthinking it. She's young. How could she be targeting me? Stop being paranoid," he said quietly. "All right, I hope I really am overthinking it." He stood up and handed me back my phone. That's when I saw the lock screen notification. A PayPal transfer for $10 million. Ryan said, "This is equivalent to the car I gave Emma last night. You understand what I mean, right?" I used every ounce of strength to keep my smile in place. Nodding repeatedly, yes. I understand. I've been annoyed about him checking my phone. But $10 million was enough to eliminate any dissatisfaction. Looking at my account balance, I laughed softly. I had money for treatment now. Next, I get more money from Ryan. Once I'd saved enough to live comfortably for life, I'd be free. With $10 million in my account, the air in the house seemed easier to breathe. Not because the tension had dissipated, but because I finally had an exit strategy. I contacted Dr. Lucas, a specialist in Switzerland, and scheduled a preliminary consultation for the following month. I just needed to survive until then. Over the next 2 weeks, I executed the perfect wife syllabus with surgical precision. When Ryan came home late smelling of Emma's perfume, a cloying vanilla scent I used to despise, I didn't scream. I simply took his coat, hung it up, and asked if he wanted warm soup. When Austin broke my favorite vase because Emma told him it was ugly, I swept up the shards without a word. "It's just a vase," I told a stunned Austin. "Are you hurt?" "That's all that matters." Austin blinked, looking at his hands. He was waiting for the explosion, for the manic woman who would scream about how much that vase meant to her. When it didn't come, he looked less triumphant and more confused. Ryan, however, was becoming increasingly erratic. One evening, during dinner, he slammed his fork down. The sound echoed in the silent dining room. "Emma wants me to take her to the Maldives for her birthday," he announced, staring straight at me. I carefully cut a piece of steak. "That sounds wonderful. The weather is perfect this time of year. You should take Austin, too. He needs a vacation." Ryan's jaw tightened. "You're not going?" "I wouldn't want to intrude. Emma said she doesn't want to see me, remember? I'm respecting her boundaries." I smiled, the expression practiced and serene. "Besides, I have my classes." "Classes?" Ryan spat. "You've changed, Sarah. You're like a robot." "I'm just being the wife you always wanted, Ryan. Supportive. Understanding. Invisible." "I never asked you to be invisible," he shouted, standing up so abruptly his chair tipped over. "I asked for peace. But this isn't peace. It's like you're dead already." I froze for a fraction of a second. "If only you knew." "I'm sorry you feel that way," I said softly. "I'll try to be more engaging." "Stop apologizing." He stormed out. 10 minutes later, my phone pinged. Another transfer. $5 million. The note read, "Buy yourself something." I transferred it to my medical fund immediately. Only $15 million to go before I can pay for the surgery and disappear forever. Part 2, the gala and the setup. The annual Anderson Charity Gala was the social event of the season. Ryan insisted I attend, despite Emma's protests. "You are Mrs. Mitchell," Ryan said, adjusting his tie in the mirror. "You need to be seen by my side." I wore a simple black dress, elegant but understated. Emma, in contrast, arrived in a custom-made red gown that screamed for attention, clinging to Ryan's arm the moment we entered the ballroom. "Sister," Emma chirped, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Oh, doesn't Ryan look handsome tonight? He helped me pick this dress. He said red suits my passion, unlike you, you're always so gloomy." I nodded. "You look beautiful, Emma. Red is definitely your color." Emma's smile faltered. She wanted a fight. She wanted me to throw a drink on her so she could cry in Ryan's arms. "Ryan gave me this necklace, too," she pressed, touching the diamond choker. "It's from the auction last week. Did you know?" "I saw the bank notification," I said calmly. "It's a lovely piece." Ryan was watching me, his eyes searching for a crack in my mask. He leaned in, his voice low. "Are you really okay with this?" "With what?" "Me buying her jewelry. Me bringing her here." I looked at him, and for a moment, I felt a pang of pity. He was so used to my love being a loud, violent thing that he couldn't recognize its absence. "Ryan," I said, patting his arm. "Emma is your family. It's your money. Why would I be upset? I'm just happy you're happy." He looked like I had slapped him. He pulled his arm away. "Go get me a drink." I turned to the bar. As I waited for his scotch, I felt a wave of dizziness. My heart gave a painful lurch, a reminder that my time was running out. I gripped the marble counter, taking shallow breaths. Are you all right? A deep voice asked. I looked up to see a man in a gray suit. Dr. Lucas. I hadn't expected to see him here, he was in town for a conference. Dr. Lucas, I whispered. I'm fine. Just a spell. You look pale, Sarah. Have you been taking the medication I mailed you? Shoo, I glanced around. Yes. Please, don't let anyone know. From across the room, Ryan watched us. He saw a handsome stranger holding his wife's elbow, saw the intimacy of our whispered conversation. For the first time in months, the fire in Ryan's eyes wasn't annoyance. It was possession. He marched over, abandoning Emma mid-sentence. Who is this? Ryan demanded, stepping between us. An old friend, I lied smoothly. Ryan, this is Lucas. Lucas, my husband. Ryan didn't shake his hand. We're leaving. But the gala. Now. He dragged me out of the hall. In the car, the silence was suffocating. Is he the reason? Ryan asked, staring out the window. The reason for what? The reason you don't care anymore. The reason you're perfect. Are you planning to leave me for him? I almost laughed. Ryan, not everything is about you. I'm not cheating. I promised I wouldn't check up on you, and I haven't. I promised not to be jealous, and I'm not. Why are you punishing me for doing exactly what you asked? Because it feels like you've given up, he yelled, slamming his hand on the dashboard. I'd rather you burn my car again than look at me with those dead eyes. I can't win with you, I whispered, leaning my head against the cool glass. I'm tired, Ryan. Just let me sleep. Part 3, The Collapse. 2 weeks later, the day of my planned departure arrived. I had enough money. My flight to Zurich was booked. I had written a divorce agreement and left it on the bed. I was packing my final bag when Austin burst into the room. Mom. Emma is taking me to the amusement park, but she forgot her wallet. Give me your card. He held out his hand expectantly. I looked at my son. 7 years old. He had Ryan's eyes and my nose, but his heart had been poisoned by Emma's whispers. I can't, Austin. I'm going away for a while. Good, he scoffed. Dad says you're boring now anyway. Emma is way more fun. He began rummaging through my drawers. Austin, stop. No. I need money. He yanked a drawer open, and a bottle of pills rolled out. It was my heart medication, strong beta blockers and anticoagulants. What are these? He frowned, picking up the bottle. Give them to me. No. You're probably hiding candy or something. He ran for the door. Austin. I lunged for him, but the sudden movement triggered it. A pain like a serrated knife tore through my chest. My vision went white. I collapsed to the floor, knocking over the nightstand. Austin stopped at the door, turning around. He saw me clutching my chest, gasping for air, my face turning gray. Mom? His voice trembled. Stop faking it. Emma says you always fake it for attention. Pills. I wheezed, pointing to the bottle in his hand. Austin, please. He hesitated. He looked at the bottle, then at me. Fear flickered in his eyes, but stubbornness held him back. I'm not falling for it, he said, though his voice wavered. He threw the bottle onto the carpet, just out of my reach, and ran out of the room. I lay there, watching the sunlight fade across the floorboards. The bottle was 3 feet away. It might as well have been 3 miles. Is this it? I thought. Dying on the floor of a house I don't own, killed by the son I birthed? Darkness swallowed me. Part 4, The Truth Revealed. I woke up to the beep of machines. The smell of antiseptic told me I wasn't in Zurich. I was in the local hospital. I opened my eyes. Ryan was sitting by the bed. He looked terrible, stubble on his chin, eyes red-rimmed, his shirt wrinkled. When he saw me stir, he grabbed my hand. I tried to pull away, but I was too weak. Sarah, he choked out. Why didn't you tell me? I looked at the ceiling. Tell you what? That I was dying? Would you have believed me? Or would you have thought it was another ploy to get your attention, like Emma said? Ryan flinched. The doctor said, heart failure. Advanced. He said you've known for months. He said the stress. He buried his face in his hands. He said you were untreated. Treatment costs money, Ryan. You froze my cards. Remember? I gave you millions. Eventually. Yes. And that's what I was saving. Every penny you sent me recently is in a separate account, waiting to pay for surgery in Switzerland. I was leaving today. Ryan went still. Leaving? I booked a one-way ticket. I signed the divorce papers. They're on the nightstand. No, he gripped my hand tighter. No divorce. I can fix this. We have the best doctors here. All fly-in specialists. I don't want your specialists. I want out. The door opened. Austin walked in, holding Emma's hand. Emma looked annoyed, Austin looked terrified. Daddy, Emma said softly. Is she done acting now? We're going to be late for the movie. Ryan slowly stood up. He turned to look at Emma. The look on his face was one I had never seen before. It wasn't anger, it was pure, cold hatred. Get out, Ryan said. Ryan? Emma blinked. What's wrong? Austin told me, Ryan said, his voice shaking. He told me he had the pills. He told me you told him I was faking it whenever I was sick. You told my son to let his mother die on the floor. I didn't mean. Emma stammered, stepping back. She's always dramatic. How was I supposed to know? She has heart disease. Ryan roared, making Austin jump. And you filled my head with lies. Sarah is jealous, Sarah is crazy. She was dying, and I was buying you cars. Ryan walked over to Emma, grabbed her arm, and dragged her to the door. Don't ever come near my wife or my son again. I'm cutting off the funding to your parents. I'm taking back the car. The house. Everything. Get out before I kill you. He shoved her into the hallway and slammed the door. Then he turned to Austin. The boy was trembling, tears streaming down his face. Dad. Austin whimpered. Go to your room, Ryan said coldly. I can't look at you right now. Ryan, I whispered. He's a child. He didn't know. He knew enough to walk away, Ryan said, his voice breaking. He sank back into the chair beside me. Sarah, please. Don't leave. Give me a chance to make it up to you. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I looked at him, this powerful, arrogant man, now brought to his knees. Ryan, I said softly. The perfect wife training worked. What? I learned not to care. I learned not to need you. You can't undo that. You killed the woman who loved you. The one who's left, she just wants to survive. Part 5, The Departure. Despite Ryan's pleading, I refused to stay. Dr. Lucas arrived the next day, my medical proxy. He informed Ryan that stress was detrimental to my recovery and that I had requested to be transferred to the Zurich facility immediately. Ryan tried to block it, but I had the divorce papers filed. With the diagnosis and the incident with Austin, his lawyers advised him not to fight me if he didn't want a public scandal about negligent homicide. The day the medical transport arrived, Ryan stood by the ambulance. I'll come to visit, he said. Please don't. I love you, Sarah. I realized it too late, but I do. No, Ryan. You love the idea of owning me. And now that you lost me, you want me back. That's not love. That's greed. I closed the door. As the ambulance drove away, I didn't look back. Part 6, 2 years later. The air in Zurich was crisp and clean. I sat at a cafe overlooking the lake, a sketchbook in front of me. The surgery had been a success. Recovery was long and brutal, but Dr. Lucas's Lucas, now, had been there every step of the way. Not as a lover, initially, but as a friend who actually listened. My phone buzzed. It was a news alert. Mitchell Empire stocks plummet as CEO Ryan Mitchell hospitalized for alcohol poisoning. I swiped the notification away. I had heard the stories. After I left, Ryan went on a rampage. He destroyed the Anderson family financially for how they treated me. He sent Emma to prison for fraud, something about charity funds. He became a recluse, obsessed with finding me, but I had legally changed my name and covered my tracks. Austin was in boarding school in Switzerland, actually not far from here. I saw him once a month. We were rebuilding, slowly. He was in therapy, unlearning the cruelty Emma had taught him. He cried the first time he saw me healthy, apologizing over and over for the pills. I forgave him, but I didn't let him move in. Boundaries were my new religion. Is that the architectural draft? I looked up. Lucas placed 2 cappuccinos on the table. It is, I smiled. My first commission design for the new library. You look happy, Sarah. I am. I wasn't a wife. I wasn't a victim. I was just Sarah. Suddenly, a shadow fell over the table. I froze. I knew that silhouette. Ryan stood there. He looked older, gaunter. His expensive suit hung loosely on his frame. He stared at me like I was a ghost he had conjured. Sarah, he rasped. I found you. Lucas stiffened, ready to intervene, but I placed a hand on his arm. Hello, Ryan. You look healthy, Ryan said, his eyes devouring my face. You look beautiful. I am healthy. I'm happy. Come home, he begged, ignoring the people staring. I've changed. I got rid of everyone. It's just me in the house. It's waiting for you. I bought you the gallery you always wanted. I took a sip of my cappuccino. The old Sarah would have been moved. The old Sarah would have seen this broken man and thought she could fix him. Ryan, I said, calm as the lake water. Do you remember the day I burned your Lamborghini? He blinked, confused. Yes. I burned it because I was full of fire. I loved you so much it burned me up inside. But you know what happens after a fire burns out? He shook his head, tears welling in his eyes. All that's left is ash. And you can't reignite ash. I stood up, taking Lucas's hand. Go home, Ryan. The perfect wife you wanted? You succeeded. She never checks up on you. She never gets jealous. And she never comes back. I walked away, the cobblestones beneath my feet feeling solid and real. Behind me, I heard a sob, but I didn't turn around. I had a library to design, and a heart that would finally be only for myself.